Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Clear from the Rediscovery Centre, and today I'm doing a workshop for Meath Libraries. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at the issue of marine and water pollution. So one of the biggest problems facing humanity is all the litter that's ending up in our waterways and also in our oceans as well. Scientists reckon by the year 2050 there might be more plastic in our oceans than there are fish, which is incredibly scary thought. So where does this marine litter come from? Well, a lot of it actually comes from people living their daily lives, littering, putting stuff down their drains. It can also be companies dumping things without cleaning the water first, dumping things into rivers and lakes and streams, which is eventually ending up in our oceans as well. So it's a really, really big problem and something all of us can do something about. One of the first things we can do is making sure we never ever litter. If we put things into a bin in the street as well, making sure it's not going to blow out of the bin, because the wind can catch it or rain can wash it away then, and it ends up going through the water systems and eventually out into our oceans. Another thing we can do is when we're buying things, making sure it comes from a reputable company that are not dumping things into water systems. Another really, really big thing that does happen all around the world as well, so it's something we need to think about. Another source of plastic litter and marine litter as well is actually our clothes. If our clothes are made of plastic, so things like nylon and fleece and things like that are actually made of plastics, as we wash them in our washing machines, little bits of it come off. They're called microplastic, or small little bits of plastic. Those get washed down our drains, end up going through water treatment, but they don't get caught at water treatment because they're so small. So they end up going eventually out into our oceans. There's lots and lots of problems with marine litter, and I'm sure you guys know lots about that as well. One of the problems is as it's rotting away or degrading, it can actually release chemicals and toxins and things like that into the water, very unhealthy. Another thing is they can actually be eaten or consumed by different animals. Now, some of the animals are incredibly tiny, so things like plankton actually eat little bits of microplastics or small plastics as well. Then they get eaten by bigger animals, get eaten by bigger animals again, and eventually it works its way through the food chain, which is really, really not good. And what's happening at the moment is people all around the world and in Ireland as well are actually finding lots of marine animals, that's ocean animals, and also animals in our waterways and rivers and lakes that actually have lots of plastic in their stomachs. So this is a really big problem, and this is something that does need to be solved. So first of all, we should prevent all this plastic and marine litter from going into the oceans in the first place. That's definitely the best thing we can do. But what about all the plastics and litter that is there already? Now, a lot of this is going to take a really, really long time to rot away. So it's going to be there for ages. And really horrifyingly, even in the deepest part of our oceans, the Mariana Trench, they've actually found litter down there. So plastic litter down 11 kilometers down in the deepest part of our ocean. Really, really bad and really scary. So a lot of engineers and scientists around the world are actually working on ways to help this problem, ways to solve this problem. They need to think about all the different ways that we can actually collect all the marine litter and plastic litter that's in our oceans, how we can actually collect all of that and take it out of the oceans again. So I'm going to set you guys a challenge, okay? So you guys are going to be engineers and scientists, and you're going to build a model system that can clean up marine litter. What you need for this is you need a basin of water, and here's one I have that's clear so you guys can see what's happening in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in different models of marine litter as well into this. So I'm going to have quite big ones like this, these bottle tops. I've got little ones as well like crisp packets, and I've got little bits of plastic too. So I'm going to empty all of those in. And as you see as they're going in, some of these bits of plastic are going to float. Some of them are going to float midway in the water. You can see some of them there, and some of them are actually going to sink to the bottom. And this is what happens in real life in our rivers, lakes and oceans as well. Some of the litter is going to be on the top and we can see it very clearly. Some of it's going to be midway in our ocean down the water column. Some of it's going to be at the bottom of our oceans. The heavier stuff is going to be at the bottom of our oceans as well. Really big problem, hard to solve. So you guys need to come up with a model system that's going to clean up our model of the ocean. You can use a huge range of materials, things you might find at home. I think the handiest things to start with anyway are you're going to need scissors, stapler, pencil and paper as well to draw out and start planning your ideas. You can use rulers too to measure things out and make sure you've got them all exact. Then I often use things like yogurt pots, plastic cups, or paper cups, and these ones are compostable, so I can put them into my compost bin instead of going to general waste as well. You can use bottle tops as well, whatever kind of stuff you have lying around the house. Another great thing to use is different types of fabrics. So here I've got some mesh that has quite big holes in it. I've got some cotton as well, and I've got some cotton wool. So first of all, you're going to test out your different materials. How do the materials behave? What are they like? Are some of them heavy? Are some of them light? Are they going to sink? Are they going to float? Will some of them rot away in the water? So you're going to test out all your different materials, then you're going to brainstorm. So I'm trying to think of ways to clean up all this ocean litter, marine litter, that's actually in our model ocean here. So what kind of things do I want it to float? Do I want my device to float or sink? Is it going to stay at the top of the water? Is it going to stay further down? How is it going to work? Is it going to be pulled along by a boat? Is it going to float by itself? Is it going to be blown along by the ocean currents? What kind of way is it going to work? And you also need to think about how this might work in real life as well. How is it going to be emptied? What will happen if it gets too full? How is it going to be powered? Is it just going to stay around by the coastline? Is it going to go into our deep oceans? So you need to think about all these kind of questions as well as you're building models. So here's one I made earlier. Actually, another thing that's really good to use as well are elastic bands. They can be really, really handy for putting stuff together. And also compostable straws, or you can use sticks from your garden or anything like that as well. So that's just some really good materials, but you can use anything you like. So in this model here, the one that I have built, these two bits are going to go onto a boat and they can be dragged along behind a boat. Then I've cut the bottom out of this container and then I've put some mesh. So the mesh should be able to, I think it's fine enough that it should be able to catch even the small little bits of litter that are on the top of my model ocean. So I'm going to test it out now. And so the rules of this are you're not allowed to get your hands wet. You need to clean up as much of the ocean litter as you can. So I'm going to drag this through on my model ocean, and then when it gets a little bit full, I can empty it out into a tray and I can see how much I actually caught. So I can see here now that I did get a good bit from the surface, but I didn't get any of the stuff underneath. So you can constantly keep improving your design and testing it out as well. So remember, when you are getting rid of the water in here, you don't want to be just pouring all this litter down the sink. So you can use something like a sieve or make sure that there's nothing in it before you put it down your sink. Or you can actually save water a little bit and use this to water your plants. Waste not, want not, and all that stuff as well. So guys, if you want to take part in this challenge, we would love to see your models of your ocean cleanup. So if you'd like to take videos, take pictures, you can send them into Meath Library's social media, and you can show other people all about what you've done and tell them a little bit about some of the problems maybe to do with marine litter and how you think you might solve that problem. And who knows, maybe in the future one of you guys might be the ones to solve this issue for everyone around the world, which would be amazing. And it all starts with just thinking about it a little bit, building, improving, and then showing other people about it. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video today, and thank you so much to Meath Libraries as well. I'm absolutely delighted to have been here, and don't forget to check out Meath Libraries' website and social media and the Rediscovery Centre as well. Thank you so much and have fun. Bye.